Hey, this is me building and strategizing my 400k per year profit solo consulting business right in front of your eyes. And the way that these videos work is that I start by answering your questions. This means that you can ask your question down below and then I'll answer it in tomorrow's video. Then I'll run you through some business stats. It is this Excel sheet here. It tracks every key number inside of my business. So I basically just show you how much money that I've made, cost, and the growth of my social channels. Then I talk to you about my to-do list, so what I did today and what I'll do tomorrow in order to grow my business towards $1 million a year in personal profit, while only taking calls 3 days a week and running my business with 85% profit margins. And we typically round it off with some live strategy, which is basically just me trying to fix my bottlenecks in real time, so that you can see how I go about things in a very raw and authentic way. So yeah, I'll head over to my daily updates channel, which is right here. I will get into community. I will scroll all the way down until I haven't interacted with the comment, which is right here, and then we'll just run it up with some questions. All right, it's Friday evening, so what a time to be alive, huh? I'll roll this down a little bit. It's kind of there we go. This is better, I think. So we have a question from QP. Good to see you, brother. You mentioned a few times that $1 million in profit annually isn't an arbitrary number, but rather you calculate it based on the lifestyle and timeline you'd like. Can you break down what goes into calculating this number and why it's important to you? Thanks, man. This is a great question. Very, very good question. And I think it's something that has definitely helped me is by calculating the exact number that I need in order to live the life that I want, so that I don't get caught up into like a random number or making 2 million a year, 3 million a year, 4 million a year. I think it's important to say first of all that I think your goals will constantly evolve, and whenever you reach a new goal, the way that the human brain is wired, right, is that you would like to achieve something new. It's the same when you buy a new car. I cannot relate. I've never owned a car actually. What can I mention? I have a Rolex watch, for example, right? And the first 3 weeks of having my Rolex, I would always look at it and I'll be like, damn, that's cool, right? Now I don't even wear it. I haven't worn it in forever. It's in the back of my closet and I don't really care in that sense. I don't want to sound ungrateful or whatever, but I just wanted to give an example of how we think that we want stuff and then we get the stuff and then it's not really that cool and then the feeling goes away and then we chase something new. So I did an exercise where I wanted to calculate my freedom number. It's like the actual number in which I can do whatever I want. I can live wherever I want. I can provide for my family. I can drive the car that I want. I can live in the house that I want. And I can take my kids and my family when I have that. Right now I have a girlfriend. I've been with her for 6 years. And at some point within the next few years, we would of course like to have children. And I would like to get a dog. And I would like to have a very nice home with a good home gym and a podcast studio and all of these things, right? So I've tried my best to calculate different numbers and metrics for different categories of my life, and it rounds up at about, I would say the correct number is probably $77,000 per month, which is 850k per year. But I've always wanted to prove to myself that I could build $1 million a year business in personal profit. So they are very, very close to each other. It basically just, I plan on moving back to Denmark at some point where I have to pay taxes too. So I know that if I had a business that was profiting $1 million a year, then I could do whatever I want after taxes in Denmark too. So that's how I calculated. The point that I wanted to make by answering this question with my few stories at the end of or at the beginning of the answer was, you will always want to strive for more. And if you don't stop up sometimes and you look at your life and the things that you've achieved and you're very grateful, then the goals doesn't really matter, because then you'll just get trapped into a circle of where you're never satisfied. And I think the whole point of running your own business is that you are your own boss, so that you tailor your own day-to-day life. I've realized that my happiness doesn't come from money. My happiness doesn't come from anything materialistic. My happiness comes from waking up every single day and working on something that is my own, and working on something that challenges me so that I can get smarter and better, and also working on something that actually provides value. And I know that when I speak to my clients and I share content and I make videos like these, is that I'm helping people, right? And what greater life can I ever ask for, right? If I'm then surrounded by my family, which I am most of the time when occasionally that I'm in Denmark, and when I have my girlfriend and hopefully kids and a nice house, like that's all I can ever ask for. But something magical also happens when you are in a state of gratitude, when you're in a state of abundance, where you don't chase clients because you're grateful for where you are. And when suddenly you start to make actions based on how grateful you are, and you do it with the right intention of helping people, and then suddenly you get more clients and you make more money, right? Because that's kind of just how it goes. I think every entrepreneur and person that I have in my network that makes a little bit more money always becomes a little bit more spiritual as well. So it's kind of fun. I just wanted to give some more context. I like to answer these things in depth, right? QB, good to see you, bro, and I really appreciate your question, man. Let's see if we can actually scroll up here. There we go. We got Jonas again. Hey, bro, really appreciate your advice last time, especially on building a personal brand within the niche. Yes, sir. Focusing on value per second, style content instead. Yes, sir. Going narrow before going broad. Correct. Your thoughts about, yes, super helpful acting on it. Awesome, bro. That said, we keep hitting the same bottleneck in our done for you model. We run the full sales process for info businesses, including phone-based setters, and we're great at training setters to a top level, but they rarely stay longer than 2 to 3 months. And every time one leaves, we're pulled back into ops, which stalls growth. Oh yeah, bro. If I had $1 for every time that I also had to find new talent, yeah, I've had a lot of dollars. I'll wait until I've actually read your whole setup here, and then I give you my take. We tested a few setups: full-time setter in-house across multiple clients, base and commission. 1 setter per client, freelance. Clients hire setters, we train and support. Clients take the calls themselves. Each has trade-offs, but none fully solve the core problem: maintaining high performance without getting pulled back into appointment delivery. If you were in our shoes, which model would you double down on? Or would you take a different path entirely? And what pricing structure or model have you had the most long-term success with? This is a very good question, a very high-level question, so I really appreciate that, Jones. So let's run it up here. So if we look at from first principle thinking, what is the core problem? It doesn't seem like the core problem is the way that these setters or the service is being delivered. It seems like the core problem is the fact that your top talent leaves the company, right? So first, I would look at where you hire people and what kind of people you actually hire. I've realized that, or let's zoom out for a bit. Now it's just me thinking out loud here. So appointment setters and salespeople, right? That is also an online industry these days. Become an appointment setter, make 5 to 10K a month from your phone. Become a sales rep and 3x your current sales income by taking warm calls on Zoom instead of dialing cold leads, and make 10-15K per month, right? This means that when you find talent within programs, all of these people will never be satisfied with a monthly income of 3 to 5K because they've been promised and paid, not paid, but they have paid with their own money, they've paid with their own money to learn the skills of appointment setting or sales so that they could make 10 to 15K, right? This means that they will never be satisfied with the income that you can provide them with, right? Because it's key to understand that industry average for a DM setter or a phone setter is 5% of cash collected, right? In order for these people that are, let's just be easy here and say setters, right? 5% of cash collected is industry average. Obviously, if it's a good setter, you can raise it. You can have performance, a ladder of performance. The better they does, or the more cash they collect, or whatever, they jump up and then their performance increases. Maybe they have a base pay, maybe they have a minimum pay, only if they're really, really good, right? But in order for these setters to make, let's say, 10K a month, they have to be in an offer where all of their appointments generates 200K. How many info offers are doing 200K a month through appointments from one setter? That might be 0.001%, not a lot of offers. The offers that is typically cash collecting 200K is definitely doing it across multiple sellers. So you realize that all of this, right, is complete and utter bullshit that these people have been sold on that dream. So I think, Jones, with that in mind, you have to ask yourself, where are you finding your talent? If you're always finding your talent within programs, it's not good, because you'll always find people who are never ever grateful for what you gave them. In my previous coaching business, Short Form Society, I had two setters and a salesperson. No, two setters and two closers who was with us for more than a year, right? All of these four people had zero experience with online business, sales, appointment setting, but they worked in electronic stores and were selling phone subscriptions, right? So they had a experience with sales, but not the sales that you and I know of, which is online closing, right? So we found these people who were making 3 to 5K a month, and 5K was a very high end, where they had to show up 8 to 4 every single day, right? And now we gave them a remote position that would match their income and to be a part of a young founding team with team vacations twice a year, right? So these people would never leave us, because what they were getting with us was always better than the alternative. What's happening in your business, bro, is that the alternative is always better, right? Because they get exposed to, now they're making online money. They were maybe promised from someone that they could make more money, and then they're like, yeah, I'm out. I want to maybe start the same agency that Jones has, or whatever it might be. So I think, bro, you need to give people reasons to stay. The two reasons to why people stay, we have to understand that people will always put themselves first. We are egocentric driven a species, us humans, right? People only stay if they can see a financial gain and a personal gain. So if you can create a work environment where people can continuously make more money, and if they can continuously grow, which means get more experience, well, then they'll also stick around, bro. And keeping employees is like signing clients. You need to continuously sell them on the idea of working with you, in this case, for you, right? So I think, bro, that was the first kind of like thing. Are you getting the right talent in? Are you focusing your time and energy on the right people? Second thing is how you want to do your setup. So I have a done for you agency, right? In the month of May, it did $27,500. It's 3 months old. The way that we do it is that the client pays the salary of the setters and closers, but we find, manage, and train them. All right. So this means that it's not my agency paying their salary, it is the client. And all of our setters and closers are almost, in like 80% of the cases, full time with that one client. And then it's our job to force enough volume to sustain a full-time position. In some cases, they both set and close their own appointments. Other cases, they only set, and other cases, they only close. But that's how I like to do it. But it depends on the business, and at the end of the day, bro, it depends on volume, right? Because you realize that there is no right or wrong setup. It all depends on lead volume, what the client likes to do, etc., 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 right? I don't know how to draw this, actually. It's pretty hard. It's a good challenge here. But let's do two examples really fast here, all right? Client 1 and client 2, right? Client 1 hates sales calls. Client 2 loves them. We turn on the same ad budget in the same industry, but client 1, right, loves sales. Client 2 basically hates sales. So over here, it is our job as the agency to direct this client out of sales, right? Get this client out of sales. Over here, it's our job to maintain the client in sales. So that is how I would make my decision here. I don't know. I'm on a tangent here, bro. It was a good question. Because should the client take the calls themselves? Should you? It's about it's like fundamentally understanding lead flow and where you make the most of your money and what the client enjoys. Those three things. I need a specific example of one of your clients, bro, then I can make the perfect setup so it's the most profitable, the most scalable, and the most leveraged. This is what people pay me a lot of money for. So try to just give me that setup, and then I can probably build it out with salary, with time frames, ad spend, lifetime value, these things. This is this is what I do on a day-to-day basis. So I would say I'm pretty okay at it, but I need numbers, because there's no right or wrong. Everyone on the internet will always tell you that there is a one size fits all in terms of how you run your sales team. If you hire a closer first, CSM, setter, qualifier, phone dialer, if you should increase ads, if you should sell MRR, if you should sell high ticket, there is no one size fits all. There's a reason to why I do one-on-one coaching, a one-on-one mentorship. It's because that every single founder and every single business is not the same, all right? And the sooner you realize this, the more money you'll make a lot faster, right? Because you become so much better at making decisions for clients and the people that you work with, because you realize that it's just one big game of variables, and then making the right decisions based on the person in front of you, right? Because what clients pay? What kind of clients pay? Happy clients will always pay. What kind of mentorship students renew? Happy mentorship clients renew. And the only way that you get happy clients is by delivering them the business and the results and the setup that you, one, promise them, but two, they want. That was a bit of a rant, but it's because I'm so interested in this. It's my hobby, bro. That's kind of sad that I'm here 8 p.m. on a Friday talking about how my hobby is how to crack setups like this, so that you get happy clients and basically a happy life, man. I just have a time ask. Please do something with the volume on mic. It's really hard to hear you. I know, bro. And I think, let me see if I actually fixed it for this one. If not, yeah, didn't fix it. Now it's louder. But my computer resets every time and I forget. I'm sorry. All right, I won't make it. Any more questions, Espen? I'll get back to your fitness coach question tomorrow. Now we need to dive into, because we're 17 minutes in here, because I'm such a yapper. I'm like my girlfriend, man. I make a living from speaking. Should I give you access to this, by the way? Would you like that? The people that are still watching, would you want this thing? Let me know in the comments. All right, where is it? Here it is. So business stats. Let's run it up. So run into business stats. We will make a new date. Let's check out what we have here on the daily updates. 234, easy number to remember. Watch me forget all about it. 234, main channel. 6336. IG. 21. Oh. There we go. And a very, very boring day cash-wise. You can't see because there we go, 000. We've spoken a lot about the growth of this, of my socials in the last few videos. I'm not going to touch too much on it. And yesterday was also no cash whatsoever, no cost. So a very, very chill day. Today I had, in the morning I worked a little bit, just some messages and boring stuff. Then I had coffee with my dad. It was very nice to see him. Then I had a weekly call within my community where I have prepared a content AI ChatGPT, where I spent the whole day yesterday on making it, and it's turned out extremely well. Oh my goodness, it's so good. I've basically taken all of my best performing Instagram reels. As you know, I write all my content myself. Transcribed all of them, then thrown them into ChatGPT. Then I've made templates and frameworks so that other people can use it. And then I've made examples based off me. And then I did the same with YouTube. Then I did the same with LinkedIn. So it's basically every single content piece that I've done for the last year, thrown it into ChatGPT, and then taught it how to onboard people. So to learn everything about their business, their brand, their goal, their niche, their service, their cases, everything, right? And then how people now can chat with ChatGPT and be like, hey, I run an agency that I scale fitness coaches. I want to make a reel about the importance of creating content as a fitness coach. And then the GPT will pick the right framework for Instagram Reels. There's 18 in different categories. And then we'll write out the Instagram Reel. And it works wonders. So I'm really proud of the fact that I built that thing and my community loved it. I think we were 15 people today on today's call. Which was very nice. I also made them a content calendar and how to build your brand guidelines. And yeah, So it was very nice. Good call. Then I just had client calls for the rest of the day. So I had calls from 11 until 5. Then I worked a few hours. Then I just had some dinner. And now I'm doing this thing. And then I want to watch a movie or something. So yeah, pretty chill. For strategy, what should we go over here? What do you want to know? I can cook something up. All right. I'm kind of being put on the spot here in these daily updates, huh? It's nice. It's very nice. What should I talk about? So, I have a 75% renewal rate. This might be a good thing to like brainstorm on why I have that. All right. All right. 75% renewal rate. First of all, I have a 4-month offer, right? It is 9.5k, which basically makes my lifetime value 16k, around there. That's a lot. It is. Don't get fooled by the internet. 16k is a lot of money every time you sign a customer, right? So how do you actually keep a 75% renewal rate? So I spoke about this on an onboarding call with a client today, actually. And the way that people measure, basically, if they should renew or not, right, is if you can continuously bring more value than the amount of money that they pay. So if you can always over-deliver for the people that you work with, then they will typically stick around, right? There are two reasons why they would renew. There is logic, and then there is emotion. Why is it? I'm still testing this out, by the way. Okay, that was definitely not it. Logic and emotion. Logic is, am I making more money ever since I started working with Fred? If yes, probably a good idea to renew. Emotion, it is basically around the relationship that I build with my clients, right? So the fact that they have someone in their corner answering their questions at all times. But the main reason to why people will always renew, right, is if you just make sure, how do you spell it? Expectations. This people, if there's one thing you need to learn from this video, it is expectations. So let me give you an example. I'm a fitness coach. I'm definitely not, but if I were, right? And in my marketing, I said, I promise you, you will lose 10 kilograms in the next 3 months, all right? Then 3 months passes and you only lost 8 kilograms. Then you give me a bad review, you call me a scammer, and you call me a liar because you didn't lose 10 kilograms, right? And then let's flip it around. I'm the same fitness coach, but on this sales call, I tell you, my goal is for you to learn the good habits of eating the right things. I want you to make sure that we do this properly so that you don't fall back into the same old habits. And then we make sure you, like baby steps, right? We make progress together. I'm here to support you and I'm here to fix the problems that you have, right? But it's going to take some time and I only work with very committed people. Can you commit to that period of time? Can you commit to a lifestyle change? Then the person says yes. 3 months later, the person has lost 5 kilograms and they give a 5-star rating and they continue with 3 months more. Why? In the first case, they lost more weight, which quote unquote on paper, they should be happier, right? Second time, they lost only 5 kilograms and they were amazingly happy and renewed. Well, it was all about the expectations, right? A lot of people, they always think that the more you promise, the faster result that you can give people, the better. But that is false. The only right way to run a service-based business is by learning how to set the right expectations, because if you can always meet or exceed expectations, you will never get a bad review and you'll always have recurring clients because you're so good at setting expectations. My whole marketing with the digital coffee shop is that I'm never going to promise you anything. Never in a million years, right? I've done more than $3 million online by selling digital products, coaching, consulting programs. I have maybe 20 clients who are making more than 20K a month, right? I have a handful doing 50 to 70K, and then I have like 3 or 4 people that I've helped past 100K a month, right? You can see those people that they are getting these results. I don't have to promise you anything, because if I promise you something, then what happens is that you buy the guarantee and the promise and you don't buy me. And when people buy guarantees and promises, what happens is that they transfer ownership. They're like, okay, I paid Fred now. Now it's Fred's fault if I make it or not. I'm not going to do anything because he promised me that I would make 20K next month. So I'm not going to do anything. It's up to Fred. It's never up to me. It's always up to my clients. I'm just a guy making sure they make the right decisions, they have the right tools, and they are rowing in the right vehicle. They're in the right boat, right? So I just wanted to make a little rant today for strategy on setting the right expectations and the importance of it, so that you can have a way better business and also less headaches. I don't have a single headache with my clients in this business because it's all people that are there for the right reasons. And it's the most beautiful thing ever. Oh my goodness. And that is it for today. I wish you an absolutely amazing weekend. And then we will see each other tomorrow. You guessed it.